What is your answer when at introduction, someone asks the dreaded question, tell us a fun fact about yourself? I'm almost half blind and almost half deaf. I can see and hear perfectly out of my left ear and eye, but I can barely see and hear out of my right ear and eye. I don't know why this is. The doctors never found the reason. A doll maker used me as a model when I was a baby to make a porcelain doll, and it won an award in 1987. Creepy. https://imager.com/gallery/kvflldg (edit). Photo added. I once met Prince Charles in the Saudi desert on Christmas Eve. I was in a heavy metal band in high school. We toured a small bit and cut an album. Unbeknownst to us, one of our songs was played on Real World Road Rules Challenge on MTV for like 30 seconds. I came home from my first semester at college to a royalty check for about $1,000. I got pulled over for rollerblading 32 miles per hour in a 20 once. I'm a pilot and I'm afraid of heights. I'm a sax player and my birthday is on International Saxophone Day. It's the birthday of Adolphe Sax, the man who invented the saxophone. This fact is made even more fun by knowing that I'm learning to be an instrument repair technician and hope to specialize in saxophones someday. Edit. I didn't think this fact would be fun enough for my first award, but I'm glad you guys like it. I'm Italian, my dad's name is Luigi and my uncle's, his brother's, name is Mario. Oh, and my dad is a plumber. I was a paid extra in High School Musical too. Everyone always thinks it's cool and I don't have to worry about anyone asking me to do it again. Lol. I once opened for Nile. It was the highlight of my stint as a shitty musician. I'm ranked in the top 5,000 worldwide of pinball players. My go-to weirdo fact is that I spent 10 years as a bouncer in a goth club. I'm a woman. Not super strange, but enough to see people's reactions to you change since these days I'm pretty boring and middle-aged. I was born with 12 fingers and 12 toes. I have only ever flown in one plane, and I did not land in that plane. I had my lenses removed as an infant, so I can see into the near UV spectrum, which means I can see clearly in a room lit only by black light and can see UV patterns on things like butterflies and flowers. My house is actually a sailboat. That I can lick my elbow. Almost always have to show it too. Lol. During an induction session at a new job, I recently started a new job at less than company greater than. I always say, I can move my ears without touching them, then proceed to show them. I've had 6 near-death experiences that I know of, all revolving around water. I went to the state spelling bee in 2016. I respond to Reddit questions for a living. As an Egyptian, I once played the violin in front of the Emperor and Empress of Japan. Edit. Didn't realize this would get so much love. Backstory, I was 8 and learning the violin at the Cairo Opera House. They picked 5 of the 150 kids learning to go to Japan and play with 5 Japanese kids at the opening of an opera house in Tokyo. I live in a van down by the river. I was not named after the mermaid, but actually a character from Shakespeare's The Tempest. My great-great-great-great-grandpa is the target of a mission in Assassin's Creed 3. I'm a descendant of William Johnson and Molly Brandt on my dad's side. I didn't play AC3, but I've been tempted to ever since I learned that, just for the surrealness of it all. I've never been to Germany but my blood has. I never explain it further, it sounds a lot cooler than it actually is. I'm chronically ill and am part of a research regarding said illness. Along with a shit ton of other tests, they took a bit of our blood and sent samples to Germany. I can eat 2 IHOP pancakes in one bite. My cat keeps steady time to the beat with his tail when I play the piano. With every change of tempo, he adjusts his tail thumps in exact time to the music, like a furry metronome. When I was born, my bladder was resting on the outside of my abdomen. Because it grew outside of me, it didn't develop all the way, and was much smaller than normal. So, when I was 10 I had a surgery where they took part of my colon and attached it to my bladder and it quickly learned to act as part of my bladder. Because of the condition, I used to have to get annual ultrasounds. I swear a tech's face went white as a ghost once when she saw what looked like a giant mushroom growing off my bladder lol. President Obama follows me on Twitter. I drove a train. I've donated over 20,000 ounces of breast milk. If it's a professional setting, I say I like to play video games. Then all the video game people come up to me afterwards and I make new friends at work. If it's a casual setting, I say I can bend my tongue into a smiley face. But I only actually show them if they ask, because it horrifies some people. Edit, in light of the surprisingly popular demand I woke up to this morning, here's a photo, https://imager.com/gallery/uhiveco. In JROTC I accidentally shot my opponent's target during a rifle competition. When I joined the actual army, I was in another shooting competition and did the exact same thing again. I'm half Australian is usually my go-to. However, this one time everyone just started saying what sport they played, and I just casually said, I'm George and I don't play a sport. Whenever I try to tell a fun fact they end up being pretty unfun. For example, did you know that whales don't die of old age? Yay, you know they actually drown because they are too weak to swim to the surface and get some fresh air, so they drown. I was complimented by Alice Cooper when I was performing on his stage in Arizona. Him and the governor of Arizona told me I was the first performer they saw that actually captivated the audience. They said, you deserve to be heard by real people and not just a bunch of moms coming to see their kitty on stage. I cried for a solid hour after that. It was the coolest thing ever. I can't feel pain from electric shock. I make chainmail. A real fun fact about myself is that whenever the question, tell us a fun fact about yourself, comes up in the kind of social situations where this is typically asked, I completely forget everything I know about myself and can't think of a fun fact about myself for the life of me. Pretty hilarious, isn't it? I can cook minute rice in 58 seconds. I ride Heelys when I go grocery shopping. I farm tarantulas. Laughing face. I can speak most languages except Greek. Then, what about insert foreign language? Me, foreign language, that's Greek to me. When I learned to read I could only read inverted text, and up until second grade one would turn books upside down whenever I got stuck reading a tough word. I can still read inverted text as easily as normal text. This happened because at the age of 3 or 4 I would watch while my older sister read out loud from her early readers, but always from the other side of the books. I'm allergic to lava. Discovered this fact a few years back and now I use it every time the fun fact thing comes up purely because of the looks of confusion I get in response. On the day the Macintosh came out, Steve Jobs stood at the back of the crowd and watched me demo it in the computer store I worked at. I nearly made it on Disney Channel. They never found the body. They couldn't prove anything. They had to let me go. Now, let's get on to where you see yourself in 5 years' time, 'cause I'm willing to bet a bright shiny penny you don't get it right. I'm the only person in the history of the world named first name last name. The fun fact about me is that there are no fun facts about me. Everyone at my work are all like, I love to ski, hike, raft, outdoorsy shit, blah, blah, blah. Me, I collect antique ceramic and porcelain cows. Room goes quiet. That depends on your definition of fun. I'm a registered nurse. I rescue ferrets. I have 12. I have 4 scars from the same surgery. Edit, why does everyone immediately think this has to do with my penis? I had to do this very recently. My go-to is not only true, but it tends to stop a room. Rondo 1. I have kids. Rondo 2. I like to garden. Rondo 3. Yeah, kids. Me, I once ate an entire pinecone on a dare. Inevitably, somebody always has to ask why. They can't help it. I always answer this with the don't know noise. I know. I play badminton. Truth be told, I used to play badminton. I don't anymore, except very very occasionally. But no one is going to challenge me on it. And the few times people have asked follow-up questions, I can't answer them. It's a great answer. It's interesting, but not interesting enough for people to really get all worked up about it. I was the 2006 Person of the Year. I went trick-or-treating in a blizzard in '91. I play bass in some local bands. My son does electronic music. We got together one rainy day and ended up with a song that got the #1 spot on one of the EDM charts. My grandfather and I shared the same birthday. Fun fact about me, I'm still at large. Fun fact, I'm allergic to codeine and all varieties of hemp, marijuana. I have 33 first cousins. I would love to, but I signed an NDA. I have a dumb amount of active hobbies. My hobbies range from reloading ammunition, the repetition is soothing, to crocheting, especially anything to do with plants. Make knives. Yes, made a few with my dad. Canning vegetables. Yep, need to be ready for winter and can't waste food from the garden. Birdwatch tweet. Tweet motherfucker. Refinish a rocking chair. Yep, 35 hours in and only halfway. Make a tiny baby blanket with a matching beanie bet. What else do you do while resting before bed? I grew up in a small, mountain town of about 3,000 people with a lot of snow every winter. So you get real good at occupying your time and real creative edit spelling and missing words.